Welcome, everyone, to a short interview with Kate, a recent graduate of the EICC department. Today, we're talking about her experiences in EICC. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Kate.
Thank you. I'm really glad that you called me for this.
Yes, well,
I'm excited.
Great. It's good to see you again. So this interview is just to help prospective students understand a little bit more about our department. So let's get started right away. And why don't you tell me why you chose to major in EICC?
So I'm pretty sure that you know that I'm Ukrainian. So basically, Ukraine is not an English-speaking country, and obviously I'm not Korean. So choosing an EICC got me a really huge tip and so on that for the job. Basically, I'm able to work with the two languages, even though I'm speaking of non-English country, non-Korean one, and so on. So it's a huge advice for me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, basically, because only of this major, I'm able to work with it without graduation, separately. So I'm an English department, but because it's based in Korea, I'm able to take it both of it on the same time. So if I would try to do it in Ukraine, I should have graduated master's degree or higher if I want to work with the two of them.
So EICC gave you this opportunity to study both English and Korean and kind of bring them into your career, if I understand you right. Oh, that's great. Yes, I think that is a huge advantage of the major. Great. So I'm very curious about what you learned as an EICC student.
So we had a lot of classes and all of different ones. And for me, the best one was in literature. And literature translation. I like literature, love to read. The digital classes was amazing too. As soon as I'm really interested in some kind of scientific thing and digital thing, and how to better to explain for the people who's non-speaking. So even though after our classes, I made some translation for a Ukrainian magazine. So that was amazing opportunity, and the thing that I really understood everything in English, and I was able to translate it to our language. And even after that, I was trying to do something to the Korean, but that was a bit hard for me. And even though that was really cool, so I loved it.
Great, yes. So it sounds like you learned a lot from your classes, and I'm always so glad to hear someone's passionate about literature and digital media. Oh, that's great. So I'm curious, what is your best memory of studying in EICC?
Actually, the first word was I was thinking about it yesterday and today and so on. I wanted to say arguing, but better word I find out negotiation with the professors. So I find out that our major EICC major professors, they really listen to the students, and I found that the best point of our university and of our major. As soon as I could compare it to the other universities, and especially for the university in Ukraine. So the professors are really strict. So if you say it is like this, and it has to be like this, there is no other choices. You have to do the same one. And our professor, and you, and Professor Vincent and Robert Davis and so on, I loved my professors. That was the best thing. As soon as we could have a conversation. So I learned a lot of stuff exactly because I was here. So thank you for that.
I do think it's so important for professors to listen to students, to really hear them, like you said. And so to hear you say that is, of course, very gratifying to me. And I'm sure very gratifying for the other instructors in our department too. Oh, that's so nice. So wonderful. So I'm still curious about any memories of special classes or assignments or other classwork that really were meaningful to you. Could you tell me something about that?
So what came out to my mind, it was first of all, yes, about the digital class. and the Valerian, I was really like on the fire about the project. So a lot of research and how to write it like on a certain way. And it was kind of, so even though it was like, it's a bachelor degree, but we already was studying how to do it in a proper way for like the masters and higher and higher and higher. And the same thing was like with another class. It was exactly the paper writing. And I loved it. Like it's super hard and it takes a lot of time. But because of the resources, like the researching some stuff and resources, is like it goes so like deep. So like I loved it. That was really cool.
I remember your work on Valerian, the language from Game of Thrones, as part of that digital media class. That was really interesting. I thought that was such a creative and interesting project, and I'm so glad to hear that you appreciated it. And of course, that your other writing classes benefited you too. That's great to hear.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm curious about, how did majoring in EICC help prepare you for the future? How did this major help you?
So as soon as like I do understand that I'm already 26. Already 26.
That's very young. That's young.
Yeah, so to tell the truth, I'm a little bit struggling on this one point in a way, like on the one hand, I'm thinking to get to the master degree. Like I want to take a master degree. So I want to go higher. I want to climb up. I want to learn more. But on the other way, like, on the other hand, I have my family and I need to work. So actually, even though like if to not think about two of this, EICC got me like to the nice road that I can choose a work and a lot of like, so I got promoted from the company. So it's export and import like around the world. So
Sure.
it's apparently it's going to be super hard, but I'm thinking to got a shot.
Oh, great. And yeah, that's wonderful. It's always interesting to hear how students graduate from the department and take on different careers in areas like imports and exports. And of course, yeah, it is a challenge to decide about your future. You know, do you pursue further higher education? How do you balance obligations with family? And of course, there's the need to work and pursue a career career as well. So yeah, things aren't easy, but I'm glad to hear EICC kind of opened up a path for you that gave you some different options. That's really great. So that leads us to our kind of final question about, what are you doing now and what are your plans for the future? You already discussed that a little bit. Do you want to say anything more?
Yeah, just like, so like life in Korea as a non-Korean is a bit hard. Like even though, so the immigration office made a lot of troubles lately. Yeah, but on a certain way, I'm thinking just like to go through all of this, and yeah, just so even though if I won't be able to work, I'm just gonna go back to the university, and I won't be regret about this one.
Great. You know, no regrets, I think, is a good policy. And, you know, there are a lot of challenges to pursuing different dreams, different plans. But you have my very best wishes going forward, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being with us here today, Kate. I really appreciate it. I know the whole EICC department appreciates it too. But I think
hope
that,
so.
yes. But that's it for today. So take care. Thanks so much.
Thank you.